We've already teed up your deputy to take over your role for the month you'll be in Acacia Haven. Jy would deal with the trader Olga, his vice principal, later. She could have given him a heads up at least. We want you there for the first 4 weeks of the new term to ascertain why their VCE results are the lowest in the state and if there's any chance to rectify it. If not... Gus shrugged, as if closing down a school meant nothing. We expect a full report and will take your recommendations into account. That'd be a first, considering they'd shot him down when he'd voiced his opinions on their proposed changes. While science, technology, English, and mathematics were still valued, they wanted to invest more money into humanity teachers than STEM, along with sacking school counsellors. In a very public forum of senior teachers and principals from all around Victoria, he'd stuffed up. He should have kept his big mouth shut. Do you have any questions? He had a feeling they wouldn't want to answer anything he had to ask, like, why are you treating me like a naughty child being sent to detention? Or, why would I want to spend the last month of summer in some hick town I've never heard of? Or, where the hell is Acacia Haven, and is it as hokey as it sounds? Instead, he cleared his throat and said, when is the report due? Gus raised his eyebrows, apparently surprised by his acquiescence. After you return. The first week of March is fine. Nothing was remotely fine about this ludicrous situation, and Jy didn't appreciate being treated like a recalcitrant insubordinate. But he was coming up for long service leave in April after being in the education system for almost 15 years, and the last thing he wanted to do was give these guys an excuse to screw him over somehow. We'll email you the details, and if you have any questions after that, feel free to contact me. Gus stood and extended his hand. Good luck. Jy hid a grimace. He had a feeling he was going to need it. Chapter 2. Jy saw 3 things as he hit the outskirts of purgatory. 2 girls barely school age, making daisy chains on the side of the road. A rogue grew up on hind legs, staring balefully like he wanted to leap out in front of the car and add to Jy's woes. And an ocean so blue his eyes hurt. He didn't mind the sea. He remembered beachside holidays as a kid fondly. In fact, those weeks spent in Sorrento or Rosebud or Ocean Grove with his folks were the only times he saw his parents truly relax. For the rest of the year, Sylvie and Angus Atherton coexisted in polite indifference, staying married for the sake of appearances and little else. So he'd cherished those snatched weeks by the ocean, when he'd sit next to his dad on a pier, rods in their hands, raspberry icy poles in the esky. They never caught a fish, not once. It didn't matter, because he liked hanging out with his father, the sun on their backs, and the breeze on their faces. Not catching anything had an added bonus of getting fish and chips for dinner, and he couldn't taste salt and vinegar without remembering those days. When his mum spied the paper packet in his hands as he trudged sand all over the floor, her eyes would light up in a way they never did at home in their small weatherboard in Chadstone. She liked a treat as much as he did, and for an all-too-short hour he'd share a meal with his folks on the porch, the distant sound of the waves crashing on the back beach a pleasant distraction, and pretend like everything was okay. But he wasn't at a seaside jaunt now. For the last 4 weeks of summer, he had to atone for his sins in God-forsaken Acacia Haven. That's what it felt like, being sent to this tiny town 3 hours from Melbourne, and 3 hours from the best barista in Bayside Brighton, like he was being punished. Not that he'd given Gus and his brigade any indication how truly pissed off he'd been. He'd bide his time, give them their precious bloody report, and look forward to utilising his long service leave